Today I'm going to explain you another way in which we can use the adjustment layers, the layer masks, and the clipping masks to create compositions, okay? To start doing this creative artwork. Now, I opened this image directly in Photoshop. And then I placed the other one, okay, and resized it. And I converted both into smart objects, okay? Now, I have here my original file. If you notice from the example, I created some stripes, okay? And each stripe has a different effect, as you can see here, okay? I have 5 different adjustment layers, but only one part of the image is being affected. And to accomplish that effect, I had to add some layer masks as well, okay? So let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do, let me lock my layers. I will go and select or choose the rectangle tool, and I will create a rectangle here. It doesn't matter, let me bring them here. It doesn't matter the color. I will press Shift to completely resize my rectangle. Now I will press Alt until you see the cursor, how it changed, and I will drag it to duplicate it, okay? I will repeat the process until my complete layer is filled with these rectangles, okay? And of course, we can use our alignment options, okay, to have them all the same size and perfectly aligned. After I do that, I am going to leave one rectangle and remove the second one. Leave one rectangle and remove the next one, and so on, okay? Very good, because I only want to keep 5 stripes. The others, I just put them so I could have the same spacing between all of these. Now, what I'm going to do is to select all these shapes and put them or drag them into a new folder. This is a good way to organize our work in Photoshop without having this long list of layers, okay? I can select the items, the objects, and create a folder with them, which I can manipulate them all at the same time. In this case, I can hide them all instead of having to click on each one of them, okay? So I will leave this there for now. Now I am going to add 5 adjustment layers. I will start with hue saturation, for example. Let me bring this a little bit up. And I will quickly change or apply 5 adjustments, okay? I will add another one, maybe some brightness and contrast. Let me hide this one so I can see the effect. I will hide it. I will add now a gradient map, maybe. For example, that one, I guess, but something like that. Well, let me do this fast, okay? I can choose the colors later. I will hide this. I need 2 more, maybe some... Okay, let's convert that into black and white. I will hide it. And the other one, maybe some, yeah, I think a posterize will look good. Something like that, okay? And after that, what I'm going to do is that I don't want these layers to completely affect this layer. Okay, so that's why I need to add layer masks, and that is why these shapes are there, because they are going to help me to make the selections. Now, I will active the first adjustment layer and active as well the layer mask. Then I will choose the first rectangle, press Command until my cursor changes, and I will click on the layer thumbnail to active the selection. Then I need to invert it because my layer mask is white. So if I fill this with black, this part won't have the effect, but I want the opposite. So I'm going to do Shift Command I to invert. Then with my paint bucket black, I will paint that to create the layer mask and deselect. And I will repeat the process. I will active this layer, Command and click on the second rectangle, invert the selection, and with the paint bucket in the next layer mask, I will create the layer mask, and so on. Next layer mask, command click, invert my selection, and paint it with my paint bucket, okay? Okay, then the next one, the layer mask, command click, invert, paint bucket. I appear the other one, layer mask, command click, invert, and I will paint this part. So this way, each one of these stripes has a different effect, right? But as you can see, these effects are applied to this image, which was the result that I wanted. But I also want to see the other layer. This means, for example, that I will have one edited frame, the other layer, one edited frame, the other layer, and so on. So how can I do that? I have here my shapes, right? All of my shapes are here. But, and I already created those adjustments. So I'm going to unlock this layer. I will put this at the top of my image, okay? The effects will be applied only to the layers that are below them, right? So what I'm going to do next is that I will do right click and create a clipping mask because I want this image, create a clipping mask with all my shapes so I can reveal this one. Let me show you. Right click, create clipping mask. Okay, so this way I hid this image, but only the parts that were not selected get like only the things that are on the rectangle were active except for the opposite. Okay, so these are my adjustment layers that are affecting only parts of this image, but this one at the same time is working as a clipping mask. So for example, what's a practical approach for this? That we can, instead of doing one clipping mask to like making all of these adjustment layers, clipping masks to this one, instead of that, I put all of this inside a group. So that means, for example, that if I add another layer and then I choose another shape, maybe a triangle, and put it also inside the folder, this image will have the same clipping mask. So instead of having millions of clipping masks, I can put everything that I want inside a group, okay, inside a group, and only choose one image to apply the clipping mask to everything that is inside a layer. So this way we can create different effects by applying adjustment layers, layer masks, and clipping masks, okay?